This woman is recently divorced from her husband, but she is not able to live a happy life as she thought after separating from her husband. One day, in order to make her old husband jealous, she met this guy who is younger than her, but in a completely unexpected way, she fell in love with this boy immediately, so both of them are falling madly in love. But soon, both of them will face a big trouble that they didn't expect. Hello, my dear family, peace be with you. Today I have brought you the most popular movie called P.S., which was released in 2004. My family, please help us by liking the video. Without wasting time, let's go to the movie.
Yes!
The movie starts with a woman named Lewis. She is getting ready for work, where she is the head of the arts department at Columbia University. When she was at work, she often finds it difficult to concentrate on her work because she often feels lonely after divorcing her husband, Peter. Even though she is no longer with Peter, they still talk to each other often and get along during their break times. Sin went back to the office and got an envelope with a job application for an assistant. Since she also needed an assistant, she quickly called the person who applied. The person's name was Scott. He asked Scott to come for an interview on Monday afternoon and to bring his art files to show him. On her way home from work, she visited her mom's house. There, she found a box with a painting of a man from her past. The painting was of her ex-boyfriend from high school, and the box had the same name as him. The job applicant's name is Scott. A few days later on Monday, she got all dressed up nicely to welcome Scott. She waited a long time for him to arrive, so she called her friend Messi, who works as an admin at her office, to ask where Scott was. His friend joked with Lewis that Scott had vanished 20 years ago. Lewis got annoyed by the teasing and hung up the phone. A little while later, Scott arrived with his art folder, and Lewis looked at it closely. After Lewis looked at Scott's painting, she asked him to go somewhere else to talk because it was time for the workers to leave. He told her that he could go wherever she wanted. It seems she asked Scott to come to her apartment because she wanted to be close to him. While they were there having beer, Scott asked her if she had ever posed for a painting without clothes. Lewis replied that he had been painted without clothes before. Scott asked because he wanted to paint Lewis like that again. At that moment, Lewis could only smile awkwardly after hearing Scott. After Scott asked that, he touched Lewis, which made him want to do it right then, and they began to make love. Lewis, who hadn't done that in a long time, said after they made love that he wanted to do it again later. Scott replied that he was ready whenever Lewis wanted his love. After that, she changed her clothes because her outfit was wrinkled from playing too hard with Scott. Scoot called his mom just to see how she was doing. It showed that he really cared about her, and because of that, Lewis liked Scoot even more. The next day, Lewis called Messi and said he was really happy because he met a younger man. He also said he had found something he loved to do again after not feeling that way for many years. Additionally, Lewis's ex-husband Peter was aware of his cheerfulness and the fact that he had recently begun seeing a guy. In Lewis's apartment, they carried on their talk, and Peter admitted to everyone that he had cheated on her while they were still married. Peter admitted that he had a relationship with Louise's younger brother, who was a man. When Lewis heard this, he got upset because he thought Peter had tricked him while they were still married. So Lewis kicked Peter out of his apartment. The next day, Scott went to Lewis's apartment again. Scott asked why Lewis looked angry, and Lewis said he was only mad at Peter, his ex-husband. After hearing this, Scott said he would never upset Lewis and promised to keep him happy. To cheer Lewis up, Scott asked him to go to a bar. While they were there, Scott said nice things to make Lewis smile. The mood got romantic, and they ended up kissing. A little while later, Scott's friend arrived. He told them that Scott was a playboy and that he had just hurt a woman's feelings. At that time, Lewis didn't listen to what Scott's friend said because he didn't believe it was true. Lewis asked Scott about his friend Messi. He wanted to know about Scoot, who visited Messi's house even though they had never met before. Scott said he went to Messi's house to learn more about Lewis because he knew Messi and Lewis had been friends since high school. After hearing that, Lewis was even more sure that Scott really loved him, and then they went back to the apartment to be together again. Before they did it, Lewis told Scott to look in the mirror because he wanted to picture Scott as her husband. After Lewis thought about it, They did it again to have fun with his. The next morning, Lewis woke up by himself and noticed that Scott was gone from his apartment. He thought that Scott had left him and was just playing with him like a toy. Lewis felt sad because Scoot had left. Lewis went to his mom's house and cried next to her, saying that his day was ruined because no men were coming up to talk to him. Lewis also met his younger brother there and asked about his brother's friendship with Peter that might have been happening at that time. Lewis's younger brother said that when Lewis was with Peter, he was too focused on his work. This made Peter feel lonely, and because of that loneliness, Peter started to fight back against his feelings. After she cried to her mom and talked to her sister, she went to Messie's house. There, she asked where Scott was. Instead of telling her, Messie said that Scott was not happy with Lewis, so he came to play with him instead. When Lewis heard that, he got mad at Messie, his best friend, for what he did to Scott. Then, he left Messie's house looking sad. After leaving the machine's house, she went home to her apartment and saw Scott waiting for her outside. Since he was irritated, Lewis asked Scott how he felt about the machine. Scott replied that it was what the machine wanted, not what he wanted. In a fit of rage, Lewis entered his own apartment without asking Scoot to accompany him. He discovered that Peter was already in the flat, and as he genuinely still loved Lewis, Peter came to apologize. When Scott arrived at Lewis's flat the following day, he noticed Peter there as well. They genuinely still wanted Lewis at that point, so they got into a fight. But then Peter changed his mind and left Lewis's apartment. When they were alone, Lewis and Scott argued because Scott was jealous that Lewis was still letting Peter come to his apartment. At that time, Lewis said he wasn't doing anything in his apartment. Scott, who hadn't gotten a reply from Lewis yet, then left. Lewis talked to Messie again. Messie told Lewis that Scott would come back, but not for him. He would come back for Messie. Messie also said that he had always won in the love game with Lewis since high school. After she said that, she shared the truth. She and Scott had been planning for Lewis, so she could search for her true love and not get hurt in love again. After listening to the machine's words that had set everything in motion, she felt relieved and excited again to chase her love. She also promised to take care of herself. The next day, she made her life better by working out and using her time wisely. She went to Peter and told him that they are no longer together and she wants to forget him. At the end of the movie, Lewis goes to see an art show with paintings by Scott. Now, Scott has been accepted to work at the university as Lewis's helper. Scott thanked Lewis because he helped him get a job at the university. At that time, Lewis said his success came from his own hard work and that Lewis didn't help him. Then, they walked together and stopped for a quick kiss on the university field. The movie ends here. Please, my family, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.